Hello, hello, this is Paper Cuts Included coming to you live from the Ninja Turtle Sleeping Blanket, and that's I know it's legit. Today is going to be an Under the Microscope video. If this is your first ever Paper Cuts Included video, this is a comic book art YouTube channel ran by me and two of my co-hosts, where we look at comic books for its art. We look them under a technical aspect. We talk about the art, the artist, stuff like that. This is, more so of a art. We're dissecting the art. This isn't a comic book story channel. I will talk about the story in like this book and other books we look at, but that is not the focus of this channel. The focus is to look at the art aspects and dissect it, give our opinions on it, talk about what we do. Me and my two co-hosts, we're all working artists and we all love what we do. So, like today we're just going to talk about the art in this issue. And talking about art, I guess I'll start it by showing off some of my art. I am working on this little sketch that I started today. I've been getting back into the Warhammer games, like Total War Warhammer, stuff like that. Not the models, that stuff's way too expensive to get into. But I got some Posca markers, colored ones, which I've never really used Posca, so I'm using this little simple composition to really practice it. It is nowhere near done yet. So hold off on your, you need to do this. But hey, maybe I hope to finish it by tomorrow. If you like stuff like this, you can check out my Instagram, where I have my art, and my TeePublic, which I have art for sale in the form of t-shirts and stickers, or you can direct message me on Instagram if you're interested in my artwork. Links in that will all be in the description below. But without further ado, we are going to look at Usagi Yojimbo Senso #1. This was actually the first Usagi book I ever read. I read it right before COVID, probably the week they sent us home when I was a junior in high school. That's right, I'm a little bit younger. Spring chicken, some might say. But hey, I like to think I got some comic book knowledge in me. But yeah, this was the first ever Usagi book I read. It was a interesting introduction to Usagi. One of our co-hosts, Dylan, really liked Usagi right then and there. He did like 2 or 3 art pieces, I think, of Usagi. And so I decided, hey, I want to give it a shot. So I found this 6-issue little mini-series, and I was like, hey, that's probably as good as any to get into it. Because I just saw that the first run had like, 36, 38 issues? And I decided just, let me try a small 6-issue series. And I'm glad I did. I still would have fallen in love with it if I read the first issue. The first issue of Usagi is really good, but this one is too. And without further ado, let's just look at it. Before we do, though, I've probably said that twice. We always do this thing where we look at the cover and we deem, is it a successful cover? And when I mean successful, I mean, if you walk into a comic book store, are you going to pick up this book? Are you going to buy it? What's going to let you, do you pick it up? Is what I'm trying to say. That's what I mean by successful, because the world's cruel. You need a moneymaker book, and does this cover bring it in like a lot of covers should? If you have a bland cover, not a lot of people are going to pick up your book, especially for a #1. You know what I mean? So let's look at it. It's a very cluttered cover. It is very, toned down, earthy. No, I guess not earthy tones, but very, very dull colors. No, like really popping colors. You know what I mean? The blues on Usagi's armor and the red on the enemy clan's armor. As a viewer, my eye goes straight to the horse, and maybe that's the point. Because in an artwork, like I'm sure this is a whole big piece of art. You travel to the horse, and then through the horse, you look down and you see all this. Your eyes travel. You get to see Usagi's team or clan, or it's not his clan, but the people Usagi's fighting for, pushing back against the enemy. And then you go up to this, and you're like, oh, is that a bomb or something? Which we will talk about. So, it's an okay cover. It's not super great. It's not Usagi #1 in the original run. So I'd give this like a 6 out of 10 for covers. It's pretty good. It does have the added benefit that this is a later on Usagi book, so you have that fan base. But if this was the first ever Usagi, you'll get people, but I don't know if you'll get everyone. You know what I mean? So let's actually look at the artwork inside. Great opening first panel, in my opinion. If you only got 6 issues, make every panel count, you know. And I think this is a really good way to start it, and a really good way for Sakai to show his chops at artwork. He draws horses so gosh darn well. I don't know how he does it. I can never draw a horse right, but yet I've never seen him draw a bad horse. Also, his samurai looks so good. The samurai armor. I've tried, you know, when I was younger, I tried to curve that armor, and I could never make it work super right. You know, even the Tamagawa lizard looks so cool. That needs to be a print, I do. I just gave me something to do this week. But really good. Good lettering right there, too. I just like how I'm always going to be a sucker for really good typography. You know, I think that is something that will be the hill I die on as a comic book artist, is practice typography, and always try to make something special out of it, because it will really enhance your book or really break your book. But really good opening panel. Let's go next. And here is a really good spread. This is probably one of my favorite panels spreads in the entire book. Like, I want to see the originals of this. I want to see the pencils. You know, it really tells you what's happening in the book. It is samurai warfare, and you know, I'm really into that. That's why I loved Usagi in high school, because I was so into samurai. I was so into, you know, that was when I was watching anime. Like, there was no good anime. Like, there was no tomorrow. And just getting more, you know, samurai fighting each other. That's so cool. So I really liked Usagi. You know, and it's a very busy layout, but yet it's, you know, you can tell it's heavy, this page lighter, which makes sense. You know, he's running into battle, so it's, you know, you need this as your lighter. You also inadvertently get your cast of main characters on that hill, but it's a really good page in my opinion. And Senso, is it pronounced Senso? I hope so. I probably should have looked up how to pronounce that before I, you know, started saying it, but we're going to call it Senso, which translates to war, which, there's your interesting fact of the day. Thank you, Stan Sakai. Stan Sakai is an artist who I think more people should look at. I would argue he is as influential in the comic community as Jeff Smith is in Bone. Like, if Usagi probably didn't have as much death in it, I could see it at Scholastic Book Fairs, you know, or if the trades get printed more, you know, stuff like that. I think it could really hit your young adult. You know, me and my friend fell in love with it in high school, so obviously it works, you know, but I think this could really be a good high schooler, middle schooler book, you know, if it had less death. I'm sure that's why it's not, because it's like, oh, they're killing each other. We can't show that to kids, even though they go home and play GTA, what is it, 5, because 6 hadn't come out yet. I'm not a gamer, so forgive me. But no, and a really good 9-panel page where it just shows the action of, you know, I thought that was Usagi, and then Usagi dies from an arrow in the neck, but guess what? It's not Usagi. It's just some random schmub. But I'm sure that was part of the, maybe, oh, we're going to trick them into thinking it's Usagi. And then we get our payoff already. And I hope that Tamagawa lizard's okay. I, looked at this page for, 3 minutes straight, just these 3 panels, trying to see if that lizard was okay. And I guess he is, because they don't show a dead lizard. So, you know, let's hope he's good. And so the story is that the shogun that Usagi serves for is fighting against an evil clan that wants to overthrow him. So there's your conflict right there, easy as pie. You got your two sides fighting each other. You know, like every good Western, the heroes find the villain. Every good, you know, medieval movie, you know, Army of Darkness, Ashes fighting the Deadites. You know, don't overthink it sometimes. Just have one good side, one bad side. They duking it out, which is happening here. And, you know, Stan Sakai we'll go back to him, is an artist who has stayed consistent in his entire career. He does get better because I think his artwork gets, more confident. His inks get more confident. His lines get heavier, which I think I count to confidence and laying down that pen or laying down that brush. So I'll definitely do a look at like Usagi #1 and then whatever his newest Usagi book is, which I wish I could find a non-colored version of his newer stuff. Let me know if there is, because then is none of it colored or is it all colored? It's hard because I had Usagi on my pull list, but then the comic book store I went to unfortunately closed, so I haven't got new books, like new books, maybe in like 6 months. So I'm a little lost on what's happening. And then that store I was going to had some problems with getting stuff. So I probably haven't got new stuff in maybe 8-10 months. But it was a great store. I'm very sad it went away. R.I.P. Retrograde. Rest in power. But no. Also, he's not overthinking backgrounds. Like, it's blank backgrounds, but it works. Like, don't overthink it. Don't have every panel have a sprawling metropolis or a giant forest. So I think if you did a giant forest, Stan Sakai's artwork might get lost in it. You know what I mean? Like, the figures are simple but effective. Like, try drawing him, and it's going to turn out to be a lot harder. Try coming up with original characters. It's hard. So kudos to anyone who's done it. Sometimes I have to spend days doing walks. I come up with my ideas when I'm walking around. So kudos for, Stan Sakai creating a world and building on it like there's no tomorrow. Usagi's a really well fleshed out character and world. And they're, as a first read, it's good. Like, none of the, there's, they're not doing like, well, this character in so-and-so event did this. Like, there's some of that, but it's not, this book isn't reliant on you reading the past 10-20 years of Usagi. You can, I think this is a pretty good first introduction, because you're getting that awesome action scene, you're meeting the characters, and then you're going to want more. So you're going to, go buy a trade, hopefully, and that's your moneymaker right there, is them trades. So here we get, they're talking about, they don't really know what to do in the battlefield because they're losing, and then this engineerist guy comes, and he shows off his creation, a Kamiyama, or Turtle Mountain, and a really cool design, very futuristic, or not futuristic, but very steampunky, which I'm sure a lot of people like. I like it a lot. I think it's very interesting. Put some giant turtle machine in a samurai war. Is it going to do anything cool? Well, we don't know yet, because turns out the young master that they're all fighting for hates it. There needs to be honor in battle. The samurai must fight each other, not, some machine that spits fire at them. Which is very cool. I hope. Now, I've only read the first issue of this series. I read the first issue, and then I went to the first volume of Usagi, because I wanted to read it. So I'm going to be reading the other 5 with you guys, essentially. So, hey, don't spoil it for me, because I'll do this over the next, well, I don't know, because I need to go buy the other 5. I only bought this one, so now I got to go back to that store and buy the other 5. But, we'll see what we can do. Maybe in a couple weeks, I'll try to do maybe the rest. Do a 5-part, hour-long special or something, our longest video or something. But we'll see. Then we get to see the antagonist side. We've seen all the heroes, let's see our villains. And now we're looking at one of my favorite character designs Sakai does, is when he draws snakes and how he figures out how to do their armor. Like, I wouldn't think to do that. I would Disney it and make him naked, pretty much. He's a snake. But very creative, putting armor on him, especially the way he did, and having a very, probably to us as Americans, a very stereotypical cliche samurai with the big helmet with the horns, the face mask. To us, I feel like as Americans, or in American culture, when we watch foreign films or just stuff with samurai, this is what we think of when we think samurai. The big helmet, the face mask, the Oni mask, you know what I mean? So, and I think it looks really good. Probably one of my favorite pages in the book is just the different, varieties he does. Talking heads is sometimes a thing in usagi books. Probably 1/3 of the book is a talking head, or just the characters talking to each other, or a character narrating something. And Zakai does a good way of keeping it fresh. You know, he could have every panel look like this, where they're just talking, but yet he changes it. You know, we get a view from their backs, where it shows off the awesome figure, or we get a view, you know, from the side, or straight on. So just do stuff like that. Keep stuff original, because if you don't, it's going to kill your book. It's not going to flow as organic. And see, here is another character. This is Jin, who is one of my favorite usagi characters. He is a rhinoceros, kind of sketchy guy, but he's one of Usagi's closest allies. And it's, you know, this book's really good. I'm sure people have studied his artwork and try to replicate it, because it's so good, but yet looks so simple. You know, like that panel. I'm sure people are like, I should have thought of that. I should have drawn it. I would have $1 million samurai book. But it's so good, you know. He makes these busy panels work. Like, if this was McFarlane, I'm not meaning to hate on him, but if he tried to draw a samurai book, it would look so congested. So congested. Where he would rely on bright colors to bring out a character. Zakai has the hard thing. He has to figure out how to make things stand out in black and white, which he does. Like, it reads really well. It flows really well. The action is not overdone, but yet it's not too short. Like, it feels natural. So, you know, take that. Sometimes having less action means better action than trying to have half the book be a slog fest, like a Marvel book now. You know, you don't need half your book being one fight scene. Do 3 panels here, 2 panels there, you know what I mean? And I think that makes your book actually better. So, you know, we're showing him fighting, they finally call him in, and yet he fights. So we get some more character. Why would they keep him in? But then he's so happy to fight. So we're building off of, like, if you've never read this book, here's some character for you. You know, you know, that's Jin. He wants to fight, but they hold him. He's a noble warrior, a good warrior. Some pretty good typography through there. And he's great, you know, Sakai's great at showing emotions, too. The horses, I guess horses don't roar, but yelling? Horses yelling? Would that be a term? I don't know. Maybe I should ask my mother-in-law. She has horses. What do you call a horse when they're angry? Do they yell? Neighing's not there. I don't know. But no, he does so good showing, like, here's the, we're just going to call angry face, and then back to just horse face. But angry horse to chill horse, you know, doing that big range of emotions. And it looks good. It looks natural. You know, he could have kept it like that, and then it stands out, and it ruins maybe the flow with all the other characters talking to each other. Here we go some more. You know, Jin, even though he's a great warrior, he's losing, so they have to call in their other reserve forces, which is this panel right here. And here we get probably the only part of the book that you need to read more usagi of. You know, they explain it, but you can tell that they want you to read it more. Or before. And that being the leader of this forces turns out to be Usagi's son. That the son doesn't know Usagi's his dad. His pappy, if you will. But we're getting some, you know, some more problems that, yep, there's a war going on, and now there's some, you know, even more attention that our main character's son is in the thick of it. And, you know, we're establishing that he's young because they call him kid. We're establishing that Jin's an older character because he's an old man. But it's just even more good action panels, you know. Short, sweet, right to the point. You know what I mean? Like, just, you know, one swish of a blade, one death scene, and then we carry on. We're getting that this is a big battle, and we're not focusing in on one part for half the book. We're moving around. We're showing the command post. We're showing the battle. We're showing, you know, stuff coming from point A outside of the battle to the battle. You know, cool stuff like that. And what happens? Well, yeah, Usagi's son, Jotaro, is that what they call him? Jotaro, yeah, I don't know why I forgot that. Jotaro's horse gets struck down, so Jotaro has to fight on foot now. So what happens to our dear Usagi character? Well, he goes crazy. He's got to help him. He's got to, we get some, her and Usagi's relationship. Her calling him an impulsive idiot. So we get to see that banter, and that's built up in Usagi books too. That he's reckless, but he's a great warrior. Stuff like that. And we're getting more character build because she's like he's fighting like a demon, and we can get that. He's taking down enemies, multiple enemies at once, and just really hammering it to them. These panels showing really dense emotion, stuff like that. And then back to our antagonist of, our snake guy, and then Lord Haikiji? I'm going to call him Lord H. Lord H and the snake. And some interesting typography. What's going to happen soon? We're still wondering where they're blaming that turtle machine's coming back, but he says it's not. Really great way to use this. This is probably my favorite typography in the book. Having the E get bigger as it comes down, showing the mysterious flying object coming down, and then it hits him, or it doesn't hit him, but it's right on top of him, so it's at its biggest. And we're seeing all these people run away. Where a really good panel of showing the fighting stop and just having an immense range of standing figures, laying down figures, stuff like that. That's a really good panel too. Another really great 2-page spread showing all the figures. There's some flying in the air. Everyone's reacting to it. When it hits, not oh my God, it happened, but the reaction of it hitting. A really good 2-page spread. Really good typography too. I'm sure he did that in a brush, because you can see like a brush strike right there. I'd love to see him do typography. Now, does he do it in Japanese first, and then maybe English, or how does that work? How does Usagi work? As much as I've read Usagi, I still don't know a lot of the behind the scenes. So if you know that, let me know in the comments. I would really like to know. Comments and community really keep this channel going. We've always had amazing comments. Any comment's an amazing comment. So, if you see anything you want to talk about, comment. If this is your favorite Usagi story, comment. I'll respond to you. Got nothing better to do. And so we get this mysterious rocket-looking thing crash landed as a field of carnage surrounds it, and that's a pretty interesting way to end book 1. It's gonna have you coming back for book 2, I bet, or maybe not. I think this is a really good book. I think it'll be hit or miss with people. I think some people won't maybe like Sakai's art style, maybe say it's too simplistic. Maybe they'll think they can do it, which I challenge you to. If you don't like Usagi, without looking at a reference or nothing, try to draw a, full 20-ish, 24-page book, different compositions. It gets a lot harder. Have respect for them, So, yeah, there's Usagi Senso #1. I think it's a really great book. Like I said, we'll probably be looking at the rest of the issues. I think it's a great Usagi book. Like I said, it was the first Usagi book I ever read, and once I read it, I had to go to the first volume. So it did its job. It got me to read more Usagi. Even though I didn't finish Senso, I started getting into the first wave of it, and which made me buy the first trade. So I probably gave Sakai more money doing that than trying to track down these guys. So yeah, there's that. If you like this video and have made it to the end, like, comment, subscribe. It really helps out the channel. We just reached 28 subscribers when I'm filming that, so that is awesome. I can't thank everyone enough who's subscribed, watching this video. My summer goal was 40 subscribers, and we just need 12 more to hit that. And this is, I think, technically my second week of summer, and we're already about to hit that goal. So that's awesome. And we just hit 26 hours of watch time on the channel. I think that's really cool that over a day of time has been people have watched my videos. I just think that's really cool. But I can't do it without all my viewers. So thank you guys. Like I said, if you liked something in it, even if you didn't like something, comment down below. Comment what I could do better. Comment what books you want me to look at. I think I'm about to hit 2,000 comic books in my collection. So I might have some stuff that you have that you want me to talk about. If you want to see more of my art or my co-host art, our links will be in the description below. We are putting together some fanzines for this summer, so hopefully we get to show off that some pretty soon. If the audio quality, if anyone has noticed, has gotten better or hasn't really changed, let me know. I got a new mic from my cousin, so shout out to him, and hopefully it's helped out the audio a little bit, but I'm still learning how to use it. This is the first video. But regardless, thanks for watching it. If you liked it, like, comment, subscribe. And I guess I'll send you on some marching orders, and I'm out of here. Make more art.